Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of DC Best Ever. Today I wanted to talk about food prep because food prep can be key when it comes to having a good finished product, especially when it comes to like chopping vegetables. If you don't have consistent chopping skills, then it can make for a bad finished product. And when you have like undercooked portions and then overcooked portions, it's just not good. You want consistency. So you could either do it the old-fashioned way using a knife, or you could use a new gadget. And I'm going to show you two different ways to chop a bell pepper, one using a knife and one using a new gadget, which I'll post a link for in the description down below. Also, check out my new Good Mythical Morning shirt. You know, I just figured I've been watching these guys on YouTube for a long time, and I figured I'd contribute to their cause because I have a lot of respect for what those two guys do. Not just Rhett and Link, but their entire crew. But anyway, let's head to the kitchen and I'll show you how to chop a bell pepper. Alright, so you got your bell pepper. The first step, you always want to wash your vegetables before you cut them, because God only knows what kind of stuff they've been exposed to. I usually just give them a good rinse. Some people actually use dish soap on their veggies, and I don't know. I just don't agree with that. I feel like your stomach is gonna burn off whatever is on here anyway, but as long as you rinse it off and get a good amount of whatever could be on the surface off, I think we're in good shape. All right, so get your knife. You know, the old trusty Cuisinart that I love so much. So what I do, I cut off the bottom first, just to get the bumpy part of the bottom off. And it just gives you like more of a flat surface to work with. Plus, when you can see inside, you can also see what areas you can cut in where you're not cutting into where the seeds are on the inside. Now we can cut along the sides, being careful to avoid the seeds, which is not hard to do. And pretty much you don't need any of this top part, so I usually will just throw that part away. Now the other thing you want to take into consideration is like this white pulpy stuff in the middle. You want to try to trim that off as well, because you really don't want to eat that. Fortunately, this one didn't have a whole lot to begin with. Okay, so I'm just gonna take one section of this and I'll show you how I chop my bell pepper. Basically, you just wanna cut it into strips. And the proper way to hold something that you're cutting is to curl your knuckles under and then rest the edge of the knife against your knuckles. That way you can go straight down. And then as you're moving the knife, you don't have to worry about cutting your fingers. Now, I'm not a big knife pro, but I try to pick up as many tips along the way. So once you've cut your bell pepper into strips, then you can turn it sideways and proceed to cut it in the other direction. Trying to cut it as evenly as possible so the pieces are about the same size. Now, I have this gadget that I want to show you. This device here is from a company called Cook, which is K-U-U-K. And like I said before, I'll post a link in the description down below if you're interested in purchasing this device for yourself. And it's a chopping / slicing tool that just opens up at the top like that. And it comes with different attachments depending on how fine or thick you want to have your stuff chopped. Now, I like to use the fine chop, but depending on what I'm cooking, I think for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to use the thicker chop. And this just pops in like that. And what you do is you take your sliced vegetables, in this case, my bell pepper, and I recommend putting it face down onto the blades. And all you do is just close the lid and it chops it and collects everything into the container underneath. So this is a quicker way to chop your vegetables. Now, a lot of devices tend to be pretty gimmicky and they're poorly built. This one does okay. The one issue that I found with this is if you are putting anything too hard or too thick against the blades, that you have to put a ton of pressure down on the lid, it'll push the blades out of alignment. And because they are very, very sharp, and I've actually cut myself on these trying to wash this before, it's difficult to push them back into place. And you know, you don't want to risk hurting yourself or your family members. It's a good product. You just have to work with it, work with the way that it's built. But let me take the lid off, and you can see you've got pretty evenly diced bell pepper that you can use in whatever dish you're preparing, stir fry or, you know, omelets in my case. But that's it. I hope this was helpful for you guys, and until my next video, you guys take care. If you're enjoying my videos, don't forget to subscribe right here. Also, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook so you can share it with your friends. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.